Hi, how was everybody doing? I've been sure everybody's okay. So because that same situation happened to me on this phone, and I did only partial of an activity. Some people will find themselves in trouble because it is wrong to ask someone for all of their information, the way in which they did it on Facebook now. And Facebook has to remove all of these individuals off their page. And Mr. YouTube is going to help them. Okay. And so when I get on Facebook, I don't see these people, but they're inside of a jail doing that same activity. Okay. So if Facebook sees that this is the same thing that happened to me inside of the jail doing stuff with the federal government, okay, so then the federal government would know how to remove, like, this in particular activity in which y'all are doing is wrong. They would do that. And so then there were some prisons I learned they are using money orders. Then I learned some prisons are using Western Union. Then I learned some prisons, like, they have JPay, or they have a page or something that you use. So I didn't want to go too deep into it, okay, at all. All right. Now, I did not receive any of the money orders that went into a jail and went back to my sister's house at all. Okay, I can't tell you what the numbers is or none, but they went inside of a prison, and I didn't receive none of that money. Okay, didn't cash none of them either. All right, so right now at school, I am on number 12. I got 12, 15, 16, 19 through 25 that I have to complete. But because I did school earlier today on another topic, we're not going to stretch the brain too much. But basically, let me go back to the beginning page. I am learning about information seeking, social orchestration, social support group, hobbies, forgiveness, dream therapy, prayer, and faith. Okay. And that's from pages 308 to 358, which is the end of the book. And I'm taking my time with it. And the first thing I gotta pay is my rent, my school bill, and I have to put in some more money into my death insurance, life insurance. I don't know what you're gonna call it. Okay. But then I want to work my way into identity theft. Identity theft program. Okay. And so I was thinking, because I got Mr. and Mrs. Orange that I have to complete. I sent that in already to Invention Home, but we're going to do that November the 1st. Okay. And then eventually I will get to the point of I'm paying everybody $50 a month until I reach my $1,000. And it's been really nice learning about the different things about the government and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then there's this backflash thing, like aftermath thing that I go through because I did this, or whatever. Okay. Social Security makes phone calls when you're going to receive your money. Oh, and just because the youth have their parents' name and their child name on a document, doesn't that make that is their money? Because people have problems with that. Oh, and I get extra money from the government. No, you have to be 18 and older to receive this money. If the money is drawn from the mother, when the child turns 18, the child will no longer have this money. Meaning that is the mother's money and she had a baby. And what y'all doing to her is wrong when clearly I am always around my son or always around my daughter if I got to travel 12 states to see her. It's good to have good support, and there is a such a thing as negative support, meaning they can't see anything good about you in their eyes, but God can see the good in you and how this one in particular person is treating you bad. Okay. Um, and this is why I took this class again. Parallel language consists of the elements of speaking, that color, that use of words, pitch, volume, and rate all convey interference that influence the listener. So just understand that. So one time, Andrew got shot. He got shot up at the Cornerstone Government Road. And I don't know why he thought like I can take care of my son and my daughter. And I'm looking at him like, sweetheart, you have a metal brace in your leg. It should be a crime for any one person to agree, and you just got out of the hospital for you to be taking care of my children. This when I am going to work, so I have to worry about, because my kids are not at daycare where I go to work, I have to deal with the stresses behind a metal pole in your leg and you watching my children or our children, and something was to happen to you while the children are in there. So you know what I did? I nicely told my job that I can no longer work with you because social services will not pay for daycare. And when the lady said, well, why won't Social Security pay for daycare? And when I showed her a picture of my husband, she said, this is the reason why they won't pay daycare? Because of him? And do they see what he looks like? So basically, you can no longer make a living for yourself because you have to go home and take care of your husband, your son, and your daughter. And I was like, exactly. So because social services wouldn't pay for childcare at this in particular time in my life, I had to quit my job. And then when he was in the hospital, I had to pick up an extra job, and I was working at Taco Bell. But because it became now he's out the ICU and he's in a different room, my responsibilities changed. So, it's all about who, what, when, and where with these people. And so I am now gathering more information just upon doing things with the federal government. and how do we simplify better results in different situations. And then I learned about the government that each situation has a paragraph. So, like in the Bible, they have the word bitter. Okay, when you go in the court building and you talk about bitter, you can only talk about bitter. You can't talk about angry. You can't talk about sweetness. You can only talk about bitter. I learned that too. Somebody taught me that. It's one conversation that you can have with the judge, and the word just can only be bitter at this in particular time. Okay, but when I said, "What is my name?" You a judge. You don't know how to help nobody to what the fuck their name is. That's crazy. I'm telling you something wrong with these Virginia people. Cause the rest of the states are not like that at all. JPay know what the name is of my bank account. And I'm working on things in which will coexist with that. So when I applied for grants.gov, I applied in 2 different names. Okay. And so, like, when you do not have a bank account, how does Grant.gov give you your money? I ain't seen that money yet. I just learned how to do the process of it. You know what I'm saying? But so I feel like once I get to my 2-3 books and have my workers to work, because this is how I have my workers to work. Okay. Instead of, you're gonna see me around 50 million people, 50 people, we gotta go to this location or we gotta go to that location. The way that I do it is different in the business world. Okay. Now I could do it 2 ways, right? But I have to wait until I have these workers working. Okay, so if my setting is a radio station, right? What are the things in which I'm selling to get that radio station that I want to have? Okay, so I will have 3 set of people working for me, right? But then if I can see myself with a setting of a radio station, right? Then I have all these other people in which I have to pay. But my dream is my radio station. You know what I'm saying? Regardless that I have radio stations. It's the point of that it was placed there for me. Okay? And granddaddy and my uncle did the right thing. You know, for me. Okay, for my situations. And my radio stations follow me. Okay? And it is what it is. Alright, hi y'all. But it's more so like what else would you add into your grandfather's radio station and your uncle's radio station? You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, well, I can see adding this to it, or I can see adding that to it, or I can see adding this to it. But then I think more so like I will be creating a recording studio / radio station.